you're having a good day. I'm going to be working this guy very soon. Today is June 2nd, I do believe. But I did want to catch this right at its peak with the fruits. Figs, if you will. I don't really have the time to work it today. And they are right at the point where they're starting to fall off. You can see here, I just shook the tree a little bit. And I got a bunch in my hand. It's starting to storm actually right now. And I know after today's storm, just even me do that, they're all falling off there. But I've been wanting to get a good section of the video, just showing you like right when they're getting ready to change. Nice big, nice tight clusters of figs on there. Change colors from green to kind of that orangish yellow. And then they all start falling off. I may not have time to even work this tree for a couple weeks. It does seem to go through a pretty good growth spurt after the figs fall off. After I let them fall off here, it'll go through that growth spurt, and then I'll bring it back in and give a good prune to it. All right, and here we are 6 months later. I never really got a chance to even finish that video up. And in that other part of the video, I think I only mentioned I was just trying to show off the fruit in that video. It was sold to me as a Ficus Philippinensis. I guess the consensus is just some form of Benjamina that has no true name, I guess. I don't know, but I'll still call it a Philippinensis. I don't really know. It's all semantics to me. It doesn't really bother me all that much. But anyhow, here we are towards the end of November. Like I said, I just never really got a chance to finish that video up. I am considering repotting this guy soon. That could be a new front. I've always thought about this one as being the front here, this way being the front. But if you notice, it's an open, it's the way that the trunk is the most open. But if you come this way here, it actually has a little more of an interesting nabari. It does have one crossing root I'd have to take care of when I repot it. But we'll worry about all that at repot time. Right now, I'm just going to kind of give it a clean up. Before I go cleaning it up, I'm just going to remind you guys that I live in Florida. These are not things that I might do if I was like bringing it indoors or something like that. Even in the winter time, I do keep this in a place where it gets plenty of sun all winter long. Because it is a Benjamina, with a Benjamin, you never really want to take all of the foliage off. But since it has been so long since I've worked this guy, it's really gotten pretty thick. I do have fairly decent leaf reduction going on compared to how this one looks whenever I do my video on the other one that's out there that I've left alone for a long time. I'm trying to grow it out a little more. You'll see just how big those leaves are. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it back pretty aggressively around the apex and go ahead and just like defoliate it and everything else and get the apex cut way back. And then the rest of it I'm just going to clean up a little bit. And like I said, I would never defoliate completely a Benjamina. But both because I'm in Florida and I've let this guy go for a long time, I don't think I've got anything to lose here. I think it'll be fine. One thing I will point out, I guess I could start there. This was a branch that I had actually done a little wedge cut technique with and brought down. But the problem was I brought it down and then it still had just a bunch of goofy growth going straight up from it. And I had tried to cut it back to about here in hopes that it would go ahead and just get a bud at the end. And it did not. It just pretty much completely rotted the rest of the way off. And at this point here, I'm going to go ahead and finish. It even fell off on its own. So I'll go ahead and cut that off first to begin with here, and then give us a better view of the apex. Alright, so you can see I left a little more energy down lower than I did in the upper branches. What I'm thinking might be a new front one day. We'll just have to see what happens. Again, after the repot. This is where that branch was that I initially cut off. I probably should have described that a little bit better before I went and zoomed in and did the close-ups. But it was this branch I actually did bring down with a wedge cut. This was about up like this, and then you can kind of imagine that this foliage here was coming off at an angle that looked a little more quote-unquote normal at the time. Now, you know, I've got the branch down, but of course now the foliage kind of looks like it's coming straight down off the branch, which is why I haven't been hooking up any guy wires to this one or anything. I just kind of want that to try to pull itself naturally back up. And this one, I got to pull down and it was alive, but then the tuft of foliage was so high up and so far away from the tree. I mean, I'm sorry that it did not back bud on the branch, but I'm glad I cut it off because it was really kind of goofy looking. I think it looks a little bit better now. You guys might have been able to see in the close-ups. Little air plant growing there. Some of the bonsai snobs might say to take it off, but I think they're pretty cool and they don't do any damage to the bark or anything like that. So I'm going to leave it on. All right, and then was going to go ahead and get a little bit of guy wires back on here. This wire I've had in place for this branch, but I'll go ahead and use it over here. Pull that down and away from the other branch a little bit. I'm going to use the longer one of these two to try to get way up here. And then this one, just to go ahead and actually what I wanted to do, I forgot, is not only use it to get it down a little bit, but I can use it to kind of spread out that pad just a little bit more. And I think that's all I'll put into place now. No need to do anything drastic through the winter. It's not going to grow all that much anyway.